All right, here we go. Here we go. Tyrant against. Oh, they got both their alternates.
Oh, we unlocked the alternate costume. Oh my god, what is Gross wearing?
King Tyrant, dude. Wait, so is it all the baby rage is the code for DLC? Is that like a new code every time?
I don't know how it works. I don't know the science. But
Well, we just unlocked the alternate costume, guy. That's all I know.
All right, so quick disclaimer. So obviously, like, you know, we got here day before yesterday. Yesterday's media day. They're taking all these cool pictures of everyone, and these are the versus poses. So the way it works is every player has multiple versus poses. You have the default one that you see first, but depending on what codes you put in the combat code, which I believe is dictated by Twitch chat, you will unlock the other versus poses. And what you saw there is the what they say, the DLC costume,
Yeah, I think so.
the special
alternate
costume.
costume.
Yeah.
But don't tell them about the final thing. The final
You want to
picture.
go straight to the match?
Oh yeah,
That
of
one's
course.
it'll happen at some point.
That one's a secret.
Oh,
It
for
is a
sure, for
secret.
sure, for sure.
That one's a secret. Now, Tyrant versus Gross. I think Gross has been more immediately successful in NetherRealm games, but Tyrant is OG. You know, he started in MK9 the same way Gross did.
Yeah,
The same way Gross did. But
We've definitely had more access to watching Gross as of late. You know, Tyrant is, you know, no one can really deny Tyrant's achievements in past Mortal Kombat, especially particularly Mortal Kombat 9, and Jax being the character he really made himself known with. Has been, you know, again, playing this character. Going with Grin and Barrett, you know, he has been playing both variations, and this one is, I think this one's a bit flashier, has more combo possibilities, it's better against projectiles, you know, due to that, you know, sort of absorption, but it's different, right? Like, it's different applications.
One of the two characters who has two. Oh, this is gonna be so much damage. Nope, just kidding. It would have been. But yeah, one of the two characters who has two completely viable variations. This is just the more stylish one. And Tyrant has always been a stylish player. And I did get a chance to talk to him a bit about this match beforehand, you know, trying to like pick his brain about what his ideas are in this matchup. And he definitely knows that, oh my gosh, he keeps trying to perfect block those, I think it's not working, but he knows that he needs to get in that mid-range, which is already going to be tough because Cassie's so good at the mid-range.
I think she controls it better than almost any other character in the game. She is a neutral goddess. But we talked about the flashy style of Tyrant, and this guy was really the premier heavy weapons Jax of MKX. You know, those run cancels and those super tight links. Tyrant, a bit of an execution monster. You heard those clicks when he was playing before it faded out. He plays on a hitbox, you know, the button controller. Really allows him to be pretty surgical with his movements, with his combos, the whole shebang, really. Just kind of hard to use, isn't it? Hitbox is a pretty hard control method.
It is, but it's really good once you get used to it. And finally, Tyrant's a little bit of like this. Oh no, he jumps. The biggest mistake you can make against Cassie. Oh, I like that. Jump kick into air guns. That's an ender that knocks them super far away, which means that he's intending on zoning Tyrant. Makes a lot of sense.
Reed!
This is what he needs. Putting Gross in the corner is going to apply all this pressure here.
Restand.
Overhead!
Donk.
That restand is so dangerous too. Especially because, like, by the time you get that restand, he's probably on max heat, and then that throw crushing blow becomes so just dangerous.
They switch sides, does Tyrant.
Oh wow, look, the zoning's working. So if he has the life lead, oh, that was a huge risk.
Oh!
Oh, no!
Nut punch.
All right, last breath. Watch out. Oh, the whiff. This is bad news. Tyrant is going to be so careful. Oh, he gets clipped. You know what was really good in the start of that entire sequence was the flawless block into reversal punish. Now, one thing that a lot of players are doing, particularly West Coast players actually, I'm kind of noticing, you put yourself minus in a situation where you know the opponent's going to take their turn and they're going to down one. So you put yourself minus and then you just time it. So you do flawless block into reversal up 2. It's a complete read. You cannot react. You have to just dedicate. But it is such a trap. You know, it is such a trick that you can play on the other guy. And it did work on Gross. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to win the game. But this is like the next level use of the flawless block. Putting the opponent in a situation where it's like, please press a button because I want you to so I can flawless block punish it.
Minus is plus in that situation, right?
Anything is plus if you believe. That's the rule. That's the rule.
That's the truth. Now, one thing that we didn't get to see last time, ooh, nice, good start. This is going to be a zoning start. But Thumper, the big grenade launcher that Jax has, actually does more damage and has an equal knockdown to the low gunshots. So if he wants to trade projectiles, he technically wins. Now, it's not something you can just like spam and win with, but I would like to see a few more challenges just to let him know that, hey, this is an option. I have something full screen too.
Once you grab, it's going to get scouted out. All that's really going to do is give Gross a better position to run away. You can really notice Gross, he is not interested in playing that up-close game at all. Tyrant, he's going to get the restand now, no doubt. He's going to build up those flaming arms. And now the grab has become a big risk. No punish combos!
Way to keep him in the corner.
It forced the breakaway too, very important. With punish, combo. And here we go. Tyrant putting on that exhibition of why Jax hurt so good.
Oh, and was really cool. He just did one hit of forward 3 into the command overhead. I think that's to kind of blow up some certain fuzzy timings.
Yeah, for sure. Well, most of the options off of the forward 3-3 can be flawless blocked for similar reasons or countered in some way, but especially when you use chip damage.
If you're waiting for the second hit before you know those options, then like you're not ready for it to just be one hit into it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's an overhead, not a mid, which I know isn't really a mix-up, but it's something different, right?
Right, and I think that overhead is safe, so that's just kind of like a
yeah, I believe it's -5 normally.
Now, this
I think it's -7 and then -5 if you amplify it, but the second hit's a high, so you can crouch it.
why the low gunshot is such a, I think, a gift that keeps on giving is A, it goes low to the ground, and we call it low gunshot. We know it's a mid, but obviously she goes low to the ground. That's
You see a character go down low, just instinctively low projectile.
Yeah. So the reason that's so good as well is the fact that it's almost like the MKX sector syndrome, where on hit it knocks down, and if it knocks down, it's another turn for her. That if the opponent's on the floor, they can't retaliate.
It's so good. I mean, on reaction, you can duck under high projectiles with it. That's why he's not checking with those like heat missiles, I believe they're called.
Yes. And she just goes under so many of them. And she's got so many really favorable matchups almost because of that. If they're very projectile heavy, then that low gunshot just is the answer.
However, if the heat missiles aren't working, there's no way the grenade launcher is going to work either. Like Tyrant we're not seeing him use these options because I think he already knows they're not really going to work.
Right, like I was saying, the Thumper, the grenade launcher, it only works if you are at very least even or, you know, have that life lead. But the fact that he's losing life lead so early and has to play catch up is why Gross has been able to control this. All right, this is a lot of damage. Nice breakaway. He's going to have the screen.
Unfortunately, without the amplify, Jax's combo opportunity is not so hot. So that's going to be a 2-0. Pretty dominant too. It just looks like the matchup being played extremely well. And this is Gross. He was always been a spacing guy, right? You know, MK9, he had a super clean sector that had almost this exact identical playstyle. Cassie Cage and MKX, very similar. Green Lantern, Black Adam, and Injustice 2. This neutral is what he's built around.
He controls with like normal projectiles, just very basic, and then has some of the best fuzzy tools in the game, and that's how he plays. He punishes you really hard, and then just moves away again. Or takes his turn. If he gets an opportunity to mix, he's great. He's got so many good setups.
Oh, wake up.
Really that was a counter though, not a punish. I think it was Tyrant trying to press something else.
Oh. That forward 4 is so plus on hit. It's one of the best like single buttons in the game, I think.
Yeah, 9 frames, 0 on block, plus a million.
It does a really good job of just making you feel like you can't move. It's like, hello, I would like to play this video game I purchased, please.
Oh, going for the stand for optimals. Those are hard. Sometimes you switch sides too. Oh.
Well, this is a good situation for Tyrant. There's no defensive buy yet for Gross. The wake-up wasn't there. Into a hit confirm. There we go. A clean round. This is what Tyrant needs.
It's also good that he saves his fatal blow. He understands that, look, if I can kill without it, let's just take it as is.
For sure.
Save it for later. We're probably going to need it.
He's a bit low on resources, but as long as you've got the heated arms, you haven't got 0 damage.
Ooh. Down 1-2. There's something about that that's just, ooh, oh, no confirm.
He challenged on minus in that situation too after the forward 2-1, but he's just pressing a lot of buttons. He's trying to frustrate Gross for sure.
Disrespects the down 1. I know that string is like, it's like barely plus, but still slightly right, I think.
Which string?
The one that concussion blow that Gross just did. I can't remember the input for it at all.
Forward 2 throw?
I think so. The one where it's like, I can't remember.
Yeah.
That thing.
+1, +2, something.
Oh, 3 levels of heat just like that.
This is a good round for Tyrant.
And there we go.
There
That's it is. Exactly what Chef was.
Oh, he did the air one! He did the entire one! So smart!
Get out of my airspace. Ooh! Now that was awareness, right? We talked about we haven't seen Tyrant use the grenade launcher because it's almost never a favorable position to either trade or hit it. The moment he's got the life lead and he can now play the full screen game, he pulls it out instantly.
Made a lot of great decisions that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Playing very patient.
And I think that is really what that grenade launcher is for. You know, he's not supposed to be a zoning character, but he can challenge you. And just being able to challenge somebody puts a little bit of fear into their hearts.
Nutcracker.
Keeping it simple. The reverse grab. Oh, wow. The whiff. And that whiff punish breakaway used. Unfortunately, you know, when you break away Cassie, she's going to be point blank in your face the moment you stand up. So you kind of almost have to hold something else, confirm straight into nut punch.
Oh, no finish on the string. Gross keeping himself safe. There's the heat rocket, but again, all this space, Gross behind him. Tyrant just gradually losing a little bit. I mean, that projectile does a deceiving amount of chip as well, considering what it is. Doesn't look like much, but when you've got this many, there we go. Opportunity, no breakaway from Gross. Ooh, setup.
Reset! Oh, that was clean. He did more damage on the reset than the combo, so I respect it.
Yeah, this is a scary situation. He's got him in the corner now, so... Oh, this actually could be it with Fatal Blow.
Oh! There it the round as well. You've been tangoed.
That was such a good play from Tyrant.
It was okay, Tyrant, I feel, has adapted to this matchup now. I mean, definitely it's super, super close, but he's not getting just, I don't know, just low shot to death, basically.
However, Gross understanding, hey, I'm going to try and be a little bit more aggressive, because if he's been super slow-paced, Tyrant was, I think, a little bit impatient in those first couple of games that you lost. I'd almost feel like Gross is now having to, well, let's try and fight back a little bit, right? Don't let him bully me the whole time, because now Tyrant, he's going to feel himself. These are like tactical teabags as well.
No, he's definitely just buffering.
Oh, I know, it just looks like it.
Ugh.
That's why they're tactical teammates.
Tactical bag.
Or was it a buffer?
Oh no, whiffs the end. Gets hit by the wake up.
Jax's wake up 3 is so strong. He just goes so much further than it looks.
Tyrant is such a momentum-based player, isn't he? Like,
He is.
the moment he gets going, it's so hard to just slow him down.
Although, hey, if anybody can do it, it's Gross, which he just did right there. That entire, oh, drops the combo. This is bad.
There we go. Tyrant doesn't have the fatal blow though. I mean, when you against a character like Jax that has a fatal blow that strong, as soon as it's off the table, it's just so much less scary to play around.
Now, there's going to be match point for Gross. So Tyrant, he's not out of the park yet.
Oh my god, all these down ones.
Well,
All
the big thing there was we're finally seeing his Tyrant being able to establish that forward 4, that advancing knee. It doesn't go super far, but it is plus on block, and hasn't really been in range to use it so far, especially against like buttons like that Cassie's trying to stick at you.
Oh,
nearly.
backflips over him.
Nice little anti-air. It's not going to be the damage, at least the positioning. Gross wants Tyrant as far away as possible, and now the knockdown comes out. Sent further away. On every low gunshot, he gets sent further away. It's not ideal.
Oh, no! That's a big mistake, unfortunately, for Tyrant.
Might be game over. That one actually might be the beginning of the end. Poor old Tyrant.
Well,
That is
never
a lot of
never,
damage.
but he's using a lot of resources just to get close.
Oh, challenge the post down 1. That's a heavy read. It's working out for him.
Oh, took out the throw.
That was like 3 down 2s in a row that Tyrant just caught out.
See the disrespect again. Oh, the jump. Such a good choice from Gross. And he finally dedicates in for that mid. Into the round ender. Into the game ender. That was a really good game, actually. I think
No,
Tyrant,
that was a really good set.
he adapted really well, but it just wasn't enough, was it?
No, and definitely getting hit out of that that thumper by the forward 2 throw. That it counter hit. Sorry, crushing blow is only on counter hit or its startup. Counter hit or punish, and that just ended his momentum so heavily. And one of the biggest things too about crushing blows that people don't really talk about in this game is that once it starts, anything that's on its way to hitting the other player.
I'm fucking lit.
That was a really good turnaround. We always talk about how Tyrant is a really momentum-based player. So the fact that Gross was able to kind of just like calm down pretty much straight away and make those adjustments to go, hey, look, let's be a little bit more aggressive to try and like just slow the pace down a bit. And then when Tyrant has been like diffused, let's go back to that. We'll get the life lead and then go back to that slow-paced game where the low gunshots knock him down, frustrate him, etc., etc. So that was excellently well played, and hopefully we can see a bit more of Tyrant later on. That was a really good Jax.
Well, that's the good thing. We will. This isn't just a traditional bracket. We're guaranteed to see a nice chunk of games from every player, and I believe every match is going to be streamed too, so we're not going to miss a thing.
Yeah, plenty of good matches. So that means that, again, for those people who aren't aware of how the format works, Gross is going to move on to fight another player who wins, and then Tyrant is going to move down to fight one of the players who lost. And the lower half of each group goes in a loser's bracket. The top, there's the Toasty again.
So, I actually don't know. Is the requirement of that to hit a down 2 or what? To hit an uppercut?
I think it's just any moment where they really pop off.
Any nice big launch area?
A game changer.
Ooh,
A big ass. I call it a big ass moment.
That's a technical term for it, I think. Yeah, the scientific term.
That's the PND term.
So we've already seen 3 sets. Plenty more where that came from. We're already seeing quite a few one-sided sets as well. They've not all quite been as back and forth as I was expecting.